Steve, so you're saying breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and then where do we go from there? Do we have lunch, dinner, or something in between?
That's right. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You've gone half the 24-hour period without food, so that's the time to really give yourself the nourishment. And then depending on your metabolic type, whether you burn the calories slower or faster, you should be able to go 4 or 5 hours without a meal. If you can go 4 hours, then you can consider that you probably got it about right.
Okay.
And maybe 5. But I even go longer because with the food I eat, which is a really solid breakfast, I go 6 hours, sometimes 7 hours without eating. And then in mid-afternoon or later afternoon, I might take another meal, and that's all I need for the day. In fact, I always feel best if I eat 2 meals and that I don't eat that second meal too late. I wake up the next morning much more refreshed.
Do you drink, obviously you drink fluids throughout the day, or?
That's right. I drink, especially water is my favorite. I drink mostly water, and I don't drink with meals. It's important to let the digestive juices work without being diluted. But I do drink between meals, and water is obviously the best because that's what the body wants to work with, is water. Some people will take 3 meals a day. See, I don't eat at 5 o'clock in the morning, like leaving at 6, and like I might have to in some job situations. I usually eat about 7:30, something like that in the morning, and then I'm good till 3, 4 in the afternoon sometimes. But if I did get hungry earlier, I could eat earlier. I could maybe do 2.5 meals, like a lighter snack. The evening meal should be your lightest meal of the day, if you do need to eat later. And some people may even take 5 meals, but you know, it's best to really experiment and see what works best for you. The problem, of course, is that you'll hear things like we should all eat 5 meals a day, we should graze, or we should all do this, you know, we should all wear black clothes, we should all have beards or whatever, you know. Like, it's just, the body is just so different that we need to have that experience, and just the trying it out is really what this is about. And there are a lot of theories about doing this and that we shouldn't combine this with that, and our experiences really show us what works and what doesn't.
I'd like to also touch on eating habits, the way we eat. I know sometimes if I'm in a rush or I'm just thinking of something, I probably don't chew as much as I should.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even aware that I'm eating. Like I'm off in my mental landscape somewhere doing something that
right.
I'll finish a meal and think, gee, I just stuffed that down. I didn't really chew.
Mm-hmm.
And so I imagine that's bad for the digestive system in the body, and it makes it hard to process your food. And
that's right. It does. Chewing is a very important part of using food for health. It's obvious that if you're going to digest the food for better health, that it has to go through the proper procedure. And the first procedure is to chew it in your mouth so that the amylase, which is an enzyme in saliva, that it can mix well with the carbohydrates you're eating. If you eat fast, swallow the food, then you're forcing your body to start the digestion with phase 2 rather than phase 1 with the stomach. And this just puts a lot of stress on the body. There was one man named Fletcher who had, as I remember, it was stomach ulcers. And Fletcher just reasoned that if he chewed food until there was nothing left in his mouth, that this must be good for his stomach ulcer. So he began just chewing until basically the food was gone. And his stomach recovered, and that form of extreme chewing is now called Fletcherizing the food. So that was an extreme case of this. You know, you have to give yourself plenty of time to do that, but if you're suffering, it's a good way to go. And in any case, whether we chew that much or not, but we should in any case chew well. I would say just to name a number, maybe at least 30 times, which means we have a consistency in the food, something like baby food, totally mashed up. Okay. And I know that's what happens to me. If sometimes I eating food and I notice I've got a moldy nut or something, I suddenly have this taste of mold. I'll spit the food out, and it looks just like baby food. It's totally ground up and nothing left.